Lads.
Welcome, Blades. So it's Newcastle away today, 7 o'clock kickoff. For the second time this season, we're going to be in front of fans. So if nothing else, it might make it a little bit of a better watch. I know it's always more exciting with a few fans there. So after Sunday, not many changes to the team. Just Bogle coming in because Baldock's picked up a little bit of a knock. Fingers crossed that's nothing major. But other than that, same team, which is positive news. I think it's what we all wanted to see. Jebison still starting up front, so we're hoping for something good there. We've still not had any official news on manager, but I did check the odds today, and I think his odds on now that it's going to be Slavica Jokanovic. So expecting news on that shortly. So, onto the game itself, and it was great to hear the fans in there. You could hear them straight away. I think it was Sam Maximan got on the ball just down the right wing, and you could hear them all getting up and getting excited. So hopefully we could quiet them down. So as much as it's good to hear them, I want them to be quiet, and I want us to do that. And we started really well. Thought first 10-15 minutes, United really did step onto Newcastle. We were winning the ball. They were maybe a bit nervous, a bit sloppy, and we were taking advantage. We did manage to create one or two chances. One really, really good chance for McGoldrick. Some lovely play just down the left side between Stevens and Jebison. Managed to work the ball across, and McGoldrick had a bit of space in the box. Just needed to pick his spot a little bit better. He put it wide, and we really needed him to hit the target at the very least there. He should be working the keeper. After that, there was another sort of half chance for McGoldrick. Ball into the box, coming down from quite high. Took a fantastic touch to bring it down, but then just couldn't control his shot, couldn't put it on target. But from that point on, Newcastle really did start to take over. So Norwood was caught on the ball a couple of times. He did it once, and sort of Sam Maximan got away, but we managed to crowd him out. Second time, I think it was Willock that took it off him, and we had to pull him down. Norwood picked up a yellow card. It was just all starting to be Newcastle from there. They started to create a little bit more. Stevens got booked again. Sam Maximan got the ball and can't say his name, which is unfortunate because when you play Newcastle, is the only name you need to say. But he got the ball again, started to dribble through a few of the teams, skip past players similar to how Ezzy did. Tried to pass it to Joe Linton, who was offside, so just chased it himself and got pulled back by Stevens. But the other man to talk about, Aaron Ramsdale, had a great half. There's a really good chance about halfway into the half. Ball down the left wing, whipped in. Shelvey wins up on a free header, makes a really good save down to his right. Appeared to injure his shoulder a little bit, which was quite worrying. We had a bit of treatment there for a couple of minutes, but fortunately got up, was able to play on. And we thought that was going to be it, 45 minutes on the clock. 4 minutes at a time, which seemed a bit much at the time, but there were a few injuries. Shelvey was down, Joe Linton went down, Ramsdale went down, so you can see where it's come from. And Newcastle really started to put the pressure on in those sort of added time minutes. First of all, there was a really good chance for Joe Linton. Ball whipped across, he's completely unmarked, he's got freedom of our box, and he just makes a real mess of the header up into the stand. Joe Willock then had a really good chance. I think he was just offside, but Sam Maximan got the ball put through, managed to pull it back, and Willock goes down low. And again, a really good save from Ramsdale. Thought it was a good stop. He didn't know it was going to be offside, did he? But then, as it had been coming right at the death of that first half there, they've just boxed us in. We couldn't get the ball. We couldn't clear it. They were playing it around really. We've barely kicked it for 4 minutes at this point. The ball's worked down the right wing. Murphy's got time and space to pick his cross, and a good header from Willock down into the corner. So really unfortunate end to the half. Blades 1-0 down, so hopefully we can turn it around, hopefully offer a little bit more as well, because I felt other than that first 10-15 minutes, it really wasn't our best performance. So hopefully we can get those levels back up, and hopefully we can start to put our own style on the game a little bit more, as we did on Sunday. So fingers crossed that the good luck comes, fingers crossed that Robert can talk us through a much more successful second half. Come on, Blades, let's have this.
Well, Blades coming out after the halftime break, just having gone down 1-0.
Newcastle decided to make a change for the injured Joelinton at the end of the first half, bringing on Dwight Gale. No changes for the Blades. On the 51st minute, exciting moment for us. We get a free kick right on the edge of the penalty after John Joe Shelby brought down Chris Basham. Norwood's lined up to take it. David McGoldrick's back there. I think John Fleck was back there as well. And then out of nowhere, Didzy's taking the shot, and it just curves a couple feet wide of the top corner. Usually don't see him taking those free kicks, but I guess it was close enough. They thought maybe he had a better shot at it than anybody else. You don't really see too much action. Norwood skied a shot. Jebo had a header that went over the bar. A lot of attacking possession from the Blades in the second half, and the stats definitely showed that. We evened up the overall possession to 51 to 49%, but we didn't see anything really good quality chances from the team. Ramsdale made a really good save in the 60th minute to save Alan St. Maximin. He had a shot cross, something really close to the goal, and Ramsdale got a strong hand to it. 67th minute, brought off Osborne, brought on Brewster, and that's about all. I don't think Brewster really contributed to this game. Unfortunately, just hasn't been able to get the game time and the quality game performances that we were hoping to see from him. Not too much exciting until the 76th minute. Didzy, out of nowhere, again, long shot, crossbar, ding, didn't go in, unfortunately, off the top of the crossbar. But hitting the crossbar from that deep, really thought that maybe we could get a goal in this game, tie it up, get a point out of it. But alas, nothing else really in the game. Sariki came on for Bogle right at the end. Good to see him get a couple minutes. Another young lad who's performed well for the under-23s. The stats, the possession, everything kind of looked like a better performance, but when you watch the game, it didn't really feel like it. The way Newcastle was going down every 3 minutes with an injury of some sort that they were claiming, it really just slowed the pace of the game down. We really couldn't get in it. The 1-0 was inevitable, really. So hopefully, let's hear from Evie and see how these player ratings turned out.
Hi, Blades. So your player ratings for today. Another loss. Not a good game, was it? First 25 minutes or so was pretty good, I thought. We came out of the blocks really well and had a couple of good chances. But it's been the same thing all season, hasn't it? Not been able to put the ball in the back of the net. I've not been too low with my ratings, nor have I been too high, really. I've tried to get them as balanced as possible, so I hope you get where I'm coming from. So here we go. I've given Ramsdale a 9. By far our best player today. An incredible performance again, really commanding. He was right to be going ballistic at the goal because it was another stupid goal to concede. But he made an absolute worldy save on about half an hour. No right to save that header from Shelby. Ridiculous save. Another one on about 40 minutes from Joelinton. Ended up being offside, but it was just the manner of the save. You know, he was bearing down on him and managed to save it. Another one from St. Maximin. He was going to square it, but he managed to block it, which is really good. He is probably by far the most informed English goalkeeper at the moment, and it's just a shame that he's playing for us at the moment. Well, it's not a shame, but, it's a shame that he's playing for a team at the bottom of the league, because if he wasn't, he'd be in a shout to get into Euro's team, because, he's been absolutely fantastic second half of the season. We'll be lucky to keep hold of him. So, yeah, another fantastic performance from him. My man of the match. Next, we'll go to Stevens. I'll give him a 7. He was not our worst player at all. Past couple of games, he's definitely been looking more like the Stevens we're used to. He was trying to get forward today. I can't really think of much he did wrong, to be fair, but he didn't really influence much. So I've not given him a low rating, but, he's definitely looking back to his best, and there's not really much to say. Bogle, not a great game. I've given him a 5. Probably a bit harsh, to be fair, but I've given a few players that rating because there's a few that weren't very good. Didn't see much of him. He was responsible for challenging Willock for their goal, and he's not a great defender, is he? I certainly want us to keep him, and I certainly think he's a very good prospect, but for me, going forward, I would like to see him further up the field, depending on the formation we're playing. If we're playing 4-4-2 or, we're playing with wingers or, players up the field, I would like to see him as a winger because I feel he's definitely a very good attacking threat. He's got a good cross on him for the most part. But yeah, his defending is not strong enough. I don't really know why he was responsible for marking players for headers, to be fair. We had 3 centre-backs playing today, but yeah, it weren't great. So I've given him a 5, maybe a little bit harsh, but Basham, surprisingly, he's another one I've given a 5, to be honest. It was a usual Basham performance in the sense that he was hard-working, he was liking to get forward, but apart from that, not much else really. He looked weak in the tackle. He kind of just stuck his foot out every time he tried to tackle. Didn't really have any conviction there. Every time he had the ball, he seemed to delay it, and a lot of the time he lost it. So, that says everything really. Not his best performance, but he's been a great servant to the club, and, we don't really want to say anything bad about him. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him in the summer. Egan, it's another one I've given a 5. It was poor today for me. He doesn't have much luck at Newcastle, does he? I think he got sent off last season. But Gillinton made him look like he was an amateur, like he was bullying him all that first half. Yeah, very weird one today from Egan because we know how good he is, and that's why it is frustrating when he doesn't perform how we know he can. He was at fault for the chance in the second half. Alan Saint-Maximin just brushed past him. He was so weak at that attempt, and it could have resulted in a goal, so he was lucky it didn't really. So yeah, he's not got a great rating of 5. Robinson, I've given a 6. He was probably the best out of the 3 centre-backs. He did his job, he did okay, nothing significant, but he did what he needed to do. Didn't make any mistakes for me. Trying to get forward, but, was just solid in there, really. So, yeah, 6. Norwood, I've given a 5. I haven't gone below 5. I didn't want to be too harsh, but Norwood, I don't want to be too harsh, but he was shambolic today. He was really bad. You get that thing with Norwood, you kind of get the sense of what his game is going to be in the first 5 or 10 minutes, and you could tell that he was just not at it today. He was losing the ball every time he got it. Every time he tried to make a pass, it was either sideways, backwards, or he'd put it out of play. He did his standard yellow card in about 23 minutes after losing the ball and then chopping his player down just outside the penalty area. And he was lucky not to be sent off early in the second half as well. He clipped Almiron as he was breaking, and, that could have easily been a second yellow. Soft, but it could have easily been a second yellow, and, yeah, he was lucky. Surprised he lasted 90 minutes. Really shouldn't have. He should have been brought off at half time, and maybe Zach Brunt been given a go or something, because not a good game. Fleck, I've given a 6. He was probably the best out of the midfield. He got stuck in at times, tried to go forward with the ball. I think he had a shot at some point, but he got stuck in, and that's more that can be said for Norwood and Osborne, in my opinion. It wasn't his best performance, but he's another one that's definitely starting to look like the Fleck and the player that we've been used to seeing for so long. Osborne, I've given 5.5. He was partially at fault for their goal. He was probably looked like the one who was responsible for the winger at the time when Stevens comes inside, and Murphy was free to easily put a ball in the box. It's the thing with us, we always seem to be so narrow, which I need to be more aware, because, not that we are, but, some players are actually good at crossing. Can we put the ball in the box? And that's what happened there. It was his usual sort of performance. It was tireless running, but, again, nothing much else, really. Didn't put any good crosses in, didn't create anything. He ended up being replaced by Brewster in the second half. McGoldrick, I've given a 7. I was tempted to give him lower, to be honest, but I've given him a 7. Wasted 2 golden chances early on, especially the first one where Stevens put him through and he tried to side foot it into the corner and it went narrowly wide. It's these moments, guys, that we need to be taking going forward, and we need to be taking if we want to come back up to the Premier League and survive. He had a good chance in the second half that came off the bar. I'm not saying he had a bad performance, but he had all the best chances we got, and he didn't take any of them. I feel bad for him because he kept on having to drop back because we just weren't creating anything from midfield, but he was losing the ball too much. And I'm not defending Brewster by any means, but when Brewster came on, he was making we were breaking, and I think we were like 4-3 or something with their defenders, and he decided to just stop and pass it backwards rather than playing Brewster through. I'm not saying it resulted in goal, but it's like he slowed the play down a lot, and we need to be quicker. And I know that'll come with creative players playing in the midfield, but we do need to be quicker. So he weren't bad, but he weren't great either. Jebison, I've given 6.5. It was a tricky one for him today, wasn't it? He's only 17. He was very isolated up front, but that was a lot to do with McGoldrick having to drop deep. Struggled to get forward, struggled to create anything. But he was making all the right runs, and he was dropping back himself to try and get the ball because we just weren't like on the front foot. And that's what you want to see. You want to see, especially a young striker, getting stuck in, like wanting to be involved, even if the game's not going your way. And that's what he looked like. And he did some good hold-up play as well. Definitely looking good. And for 17, he's a really good player already. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. On to the subs now, giving Brewster a 5. Didn't get involved at all. I'm just waiting for that day that it clicks for him, because we've seen, he can score goals. We saw what he could do at Swansea, and he's always ripped it up at youth level, but it's just not happening for him this season. Not many chances, but he's not making the movement. Comparing to Jebison, where he's always making runs, always coming for the ball, always trying to do things, holding up the ball. Well, Brewster doesn't do that. He kind of like just strolls around the pitch expecting the ball to come to him, and he's been here a year now, and we're not doing well, so obviously that's not going to happen. He needs to be more involved. So yeah, 5 for him. And I think the final one was Sariki, who came on. I think that's how you pronounce it. 19-year-old right back, right winger. Didn't get time to do anything because he came on in the 90th minute. But I'm not going to give him a rating. But he's a very good prospect who I hope to see more of in the next few years. And Heckingbottom, I've also given a 5. Not the best performance, I say. Not good game management at all. He needed to make more changes, especially with Norwood. He should have come off half time for me. And the changes should have been done sooner. I'd have liked to have seen. I don't know how Brunt hasn't been given a chance yet, considering our midfield hasn't been the best. So I'd like to see him soon. But yeah, it weren't a great game, and I hope he isn't our manager come next season, regardless of him knowing the youth. So that's my ratings, guys. Please let us know what you think. I know not everyone's going to agree with me, but I've tried my best. Just one more game to go. Hopefully we don't get battered with fans being back at the lane. So yeah, let's see what happens and look forward to next season. Up the Blades!
So let's cover the positives and negatives from today's game with Newcastle United. We'll start with negatives. Nobody likes negatives. And for me, one of the main negatives from today's game was conceding late on in the first half, in the dying seconds. We really just needed to hold on for another minute, get in at half time at 0-0 and maybe try and nick a result second half. That didn't go to plan, and we managed to concede, and go in at half time 1-0 down. Really disappointing for me. I just thought if we can stay strong defensively for one more minute, it'd have been an okay half, but wasn't the case. Second half, we came out, defence, we were awful at the back, letting Newcastle players run round us. Maximum were doing no-look passes to his teammates, and it was quite embarrassing at times for us, let's be honest. The defence needs to put a tackle in and just get to grip with the game, and it just didn't seem to go that way, really. At times as well, we just didn't look interested at all. It was like we were 1-0 up at times. We'd stroll around with the ball, not looking to really do anything with it, passing backwards and sideways, and it just was a all-round pretty poor performance, if we're honest. But don't want to dwell too much on the negatives. It's been a long season, so we'll move on to positives. And for me, again, Aaron Ramsdale, what a performance that man's put in today. Made some great saves. The header from Shelvey was like Siemens against Pesky Toledo. It was unbelievable. What a save. And he just continued to make great saves all game. if it wasn't for him, it could have been a pretty embarrassing scoreline for us, if I'm honest. And I was really impressed by Ramsdale. It was a great positive to see him bounce back from what he would probably say himself as a poor first half of the season. This second half of the season has been outstanding. Another positive, Jefferson started, which was good to see. Obviously, he got his goal at Everton. It was great that he got another chance to, get another go at it. Unfortunately, the service wasn't there for him, and he did try and close down defenders, but didn't really get much chance to get involved in the game. But I guess another positive as well was seeing the other youngsters involved in the squad, and also a debut for Sariki, which was another positive, I guess, from Heckingbottom being in charge. Obviously, coming up from the under-23s, he's managed to get a few more of these youngsters in. And another one's made his debut today. Yeah, the result weren't great, but it's great for him and the club to get him involved. And what can we say really? Another result which wasn't, unexpected, I guess, from a Blades point of view. But let's hope we can get a decent result at home to Burnley with some fans back in the ground and finish on a positive.